Los Angeles is a city under siege, where top martial arts experts Chad McQueen and Cynthia Rothrock.
I also want you to have a partner on this. Somebody you can count on.
Someone like Blake.
Lead a new elite police force, fighting crime their own way.
Nice job, Thompson. Another one for martial law.
Now they face their biggest challenge.
My clients will be pleased.
I trust our friendship, but this is business.
All I know is you work for some dude that's in Hong Kong, man.
Any idea what this tattoo means?
Hong Lin, like assassins in Hong Kong.
Until family gets in the way of business.
He's my little brother.
Just look at it like a loan. What are brothers for? It's all right.
I take care of my friends, Michael.
What the hell is wrong with you, Michael?
Now the cop, it's brother.
And murder strikes too close to home.
It's Michael, isn't it? I'm sorry. He's dead.
This time, it's personal.
This is it.
They recruited Michael through the school.
You wish to be an instructor here. Be at the school tonight.
He's believed to have killed over 50 men.
And this time,
I'm gonna handle this my way.
martial law is the only law that counts.
Made a terrible mistake.
Cynthia Rothrock and Chad McQueen in Martial Law. Also starring David Carradine and Philip Tan. Martial Law.
Welcome to They Call This a Movie, testing the strength of friendships one terrible movie at a time. Subscribe to the podcast on iTunes and other podcast services by searching They Call This a Movie, and find us on Twitter and Instagram at TicTamPod. That's TCTAM Pod. Welcome back to They Call This a Movie. This is Anthony Lavecchio, and with me as always is Dan Aquino and Mark Meyer. Say hello, gentlemen.
Hi, friends.
Hello, guys. I don't know. I know we were talking off air about food, but it was something I wanted to bring up. Have you? It doesn't necessarily need to be food, but for me, it is. Have you ever figured out something or anything, and then just became obsessed with repeatedly doing that thing over and over again? For me,
yeah,
yes,
I was
exactly.
Just gonna say.
Set it up and gone. And that's the end. No.
That's been going on for a long time.
Yeah, you just described 12 to 37.
But I guess in seriousness, just to finish my point, I figured out a really cheat way to, make some sort of burrito taquito type thing by using tin foil to make the wrap tighter. And I've just been putting everything in my freezer and fridge inside of a tortilla for about a week and a half. And I don't know if I have a problem yet, or if I'm just being really cheap with food here and not trying to make actual meals. But yeah, I don't know. Outside of masturbation, my whole thought was there something you figured out and then just, did it over and over again? I know I'm just leading back into the same joke.
It's hard because I can't even answer your question because you said something about wrapping something tighter, and it was just I was trying to figure out how to follow up the masturbation joke with something like that. Yeah.
Well, you could have said from the once it clicked over to 18 or 21, then it just became sex. Is the thing you want to do over and over again?
Oh yeah, but not all of us are that lucky.
Well, I was trying to think of the transition from masturbation to you said wrapping and tight. Sorry, that's where my brain went.
I gotta be honest with you, I wasn't expecting this conversation to go this way.
Yeah, my cold opens never go either the way I plan in the beginning, nor the way I don't think either of you two think they're gonna go. I feel like I am like a very poor man's Tim Robinson in the sense that the joke is starting off in one place and then completely ends in another place by the time we finish up the opening segment.
Yeah.
Just a lot less yelling involved.
Yeah, a lot of less yelling.
I honestly can't answer your question
Okay.
anymore. No, it's gone.
I'm a middle-aged guy. You know,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't really have anything going on.
I guess it's
routine.
I guess it's the I guess blessing and curse of, you know, since I'm single, having to, you know, cook myself my own meals and not have somebody that might have a little more creativity than me, cooking meals every so often, that when I figure out something that is much more creative than anything I've ever done, I just run it into the ground until I get tired of it.
I got one for you. You ready?
Yeah.
This is going to show you how mundane life is in the real world. I figured out that I can save on money by not buying shaving cream because I shave my head. I just use shampoo.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. That's it. That's the life hack.
That's what you come to this podcast for, life hacks.
Yeah.
And this is where we announce our new I had a word.
Our new podcast? Is this a new
new
podcast?
with the new format, our new format of our podcast.
We give you a life hack and then we start talking about movies?
No, our podcast is just all life hacks now.
Well, I don't know if you'd want to listen to us for life hacks, just seeing where we are in life in general.
Yeah, I mean, you guys really don't have the hustler mindset like I do. No. So, I mean, I feel like I'd be carrying this podcast a lot.
Yeah. We're definitely not top G's. So
yeah,
I'm not going to debate that. I'm as lazy as they come.
You got to hustle, man. You got to open up those LLCs. Those lines of credit.
You waking up at 4 a.m., praying, working out, then going to work.
Yep.
Then coming back, praying some more, working out.
Yeah, I'm following the Mark Wahlberg.
There you go. Yeah, that's how we made it. That and hating minorities. That's what it is.
You could have just said he grew up in Boston, Dan.
That's true. Yeah, self-explanatory.
All right. Well, we were off last week for personal reasons. Dan was away. I had stuff come up towards the end of the week, so really couldn't get a chance to.
We didn't have a sports movie starring an athlete that was really bad at acting to watch while Dan wasn't here.
That's true. So we just kind of had to cancel and move it this week. So we're watching what we were supposed to watch last week, which I believe was Mark's pick.
Yep.
Correct?
Yes.
I feel like every week is Mark's pick. But
well, yeah, we just got there because of a couple things because of guests that we had. Yep. That was why I got so many in a row.
Yeah. But why don't you introduce this week's movie?
Yeah, so when Ant makes us sort of pick movies in advance and sort of go out there, so I was just trying to think of, you know, either actors or that sort of have a little bit of cult following that we haven't done a whole lot of. And so I just went on the Tubi and just searched Cynthia Rothrock and just see what they had on there for her. And I came upon this week's movie, Martial Law. And I will have to admit, after reading the tagline for Martial Law 2 and then watching this movie, I think that one might be the crazier one. But I did not watch it to, come to a correct conclusion one way or the other. But I just love the idea of when I was reading what the movie was about, that the police had a special martial arts task force that they called in when they didn't want to use guns for any situation. So that was what tipped me off to first try this out. And then always a good revenge plot of a sibling getting murdered and then needing to track down the killer. And it also said David Carradine was in it. And I'm like, sure, why not? So my first two thoughts on it is that I think the one thing I learned from the 2 or 3 Cynthia Rothrock movies that I've seen is I think I like her less when she's not like being the romantic partner of, whoever she's, starring with in the movie.
Say it again.
What?
Your double negatives have confused me.
Oh, sorry. I don't like her being the romantic partner in the movie. I would rather her just be the not sidekick, either the sidekick or the lead, or the partner, or something. Just because all the romantic scenes between her and the lead just were unnecessary for most of it, and they could have used it. They could have added more action, in place of those scenes. But yeah, that was the first thing, is that I think her, less leaning on the dramatic acting made her performances better. And two, as much as David Carradine, legend and all that, there are parts in this movie when he was fighting when it felt very much like that Steven Seagal video from Russia, where, he would do a move and then the other guy would run at quarter speed so that he would be able to dodge it and do another move.
Sure.
So, I wish that was, I wish there was a little bit of a younger, maybe David Carradine in this movie to make this villain seem a little more imposing in the fight scenes. Because on the opposite with acting, all the scenes where he had to act was a lot better than anyone else in the movie. So I guess it's a give and take there. But yeah, it kind of drug in the middle as we had discussed in pre-planning here. But I like the end, and I did like a little bit of the build-up in the beginning. But I'm wondering if, this was the one where they tried to make a real movie, and make it, this is a serious ninja cop flick. And then the second one goes off the wagon. But I'm just glad we got to add another Cynthia Rothrock to our collection.
Okay. Dan, where are you coming from with martial law?
So the first thing that I was blown away by was that Steve McQueen named his son Chad. Chad McQueen.
Doesn't quite roll off the tongue, does it?
Nope.
No. Imagine being the offspring of like one of the coolest actors ever at that point, and your name is Chad.
Yeah.
Chad McQueen. It's just your life is just not going to work out for you, really. It's the one nepo baby that wound up not working out. I thought this movie had promise. It had a good premise to it. I like the idea of a cop trying to keep his younger brother out of harm's way, trying to put him on the straight and narrow while he's cleaning up the streets. I thought a lot of the characters in this movie were super corny, very gimmicky. I thought the acting itself was kind of choppy and could have been better. I was confused because this movie, when we talked about it, I thought it was billed as a Cynthia Rothrock movie, and I think she's on the poster, like she's front and center. But this is a Chad McQueen vehicle more so than Cynthia Rothrock. She kind of takes the back seat.
Yeah,
so
I feel she was the bigger name for if you're putting this in direct-to-video in video stores.
Sure.
You put her name and photo on it and on the poster and get people to rent the movie.
Yeah, that makes sense. I agree. I was confused. It was maybe like 15 minutes in, or like 10, 15 minutes in. Like, where's Cynthia Rothrock? Why have I not seen more of Cynthia Rothrock? And she was kind of put in the movie at first to show that Chad McQueen lays the pipe.
Yeah. I was a little nervous that she wasn't going to be in the movie much.
Me too.
Until, even when her first introduction, I was like, oh, is she just going to be like the girlfriend?
Yeah, that's it. It was dangerously close to being just the side chick. I've never been a big David Carradine fan. He was fine in this. Again, probably the better actor out of anyone there. Horrendous martial arts in this movie.
Yes.
Just over the top. I think it was a battle to see who could chew the scenery more, David Carradine or Faster Brown.
Yeah.
That guy was on something. I don't know what it was, but he was on something good because he was going nuts. I don't know. I think this movie was just kind of your typical early 90s wannabe martial arts movie. It's just a bunch of white people doing subpar martial arts and a flimsy story.
Yeah, it very much seemed like, especially in her fight scenes, that you could tell that she like had some stunt background, because it was very much like you could tell she could do more than what she was doing, but the people she was fighting could not. So it was like, all right, I'm gonna do the simple like kicks and punches but no like crazy moves or anything.
Yeah.
And then Chad McQueen would fight, and I'm like, oh, this is just choreographed. I doubt he has as much of a martial arts background as Cynthia Rothrock. But
Well, he was in the Karate Kid movies. One and two,
but I
think.
mean,
so
yeah.
Some type of martial arts, I guess.
Yeah, I wonder. I could be completely wrong, and someone could correct us. But I don't know if he was at black belt level.
You think somebody's gonna come and correct us about Chad McQueen's martial arts career?
It's gonna be Chad McQueen.
We have to fake like we have those obsessive fans, Ann.
Well, I'm sure we have, but I'm not sure Chad McQueen does.
Actually,
McQueen. He's a 9th degree black belt in Taekwondo.
He studied martial arts under Chuck Norris, according to his trivia. So,
Ooh.
I mean, Nepo baby, but but I agree 100% with Dan about the the martial arts. It was like the only other the other Cynthia Rothrock movie we saw was much more leaning into the martial arts part, and it seemed to be more trying to be a cop film with martial arts as a like part of the story, but not the main folk. Like, you know what I mean? I mean, it was a main folk, but it was more about the investigation than just going around and fighting dudes.
Sure.
Which is what I was looking for. And then I just love that the movie, they talk about this secret punch that David Carradine's character does, and then they just end the movie with Chad McQueen's character doing it to David Carradine. I'm like, now they're just going to think you're the murderer. Like, like they have no proof that this other guy did it, and you knew about the punch, and then you do it at the end. Like, you're gonna get arrested for like 9 murders.
I mean, I'm sure he has alibis for the other ones, but I see your point.
Yeah.
As for me, this is an interesting movie for me because I'm like 60% sure I've seen this movie before, but I'm not positive I've seen this movie before this. There are scenes that I feel like I 100% have seen. Like the Griffiths Observatory scene, feel like I've seen it. I have absolutely no proof or no recollection of any reason why I would have watched the movie. So it's weird. I guess I feel like I've seen it, but I don't think I've seen it. It's a weird kind of limbo that I'm in. This movie wasn't bad. I enjoyed it for the most part, but this is the second best martial law movie that we've watched for this podcast. The best one is Mission of Justice, which is technically Martial Law 3, starring one Jeff Wincott. So, and I feel like only Dan and I were on that episode, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I don't remember that movie.
The name rings a bell.
Yeah, there had Brigitte Nielsen, and there was a chainsaw fight in a garage.
Yes,
it was pretty sick.
I do remember that.
This is probably like 3 or 4 years ago. This was probably 3 or 4 years ago. Yeah,
it 100% goes to my point that I should have probably chosen the second movie because they probably got more ridiculous and fun to talk about as they went along.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, from what I remember, the third one was a lot of fun. This one's fine, but what you guys have said, the martial arts was few and far between. There's not enough Cynthia Rothrock. Chad McQueen is not a leading man, unfortunately for him, and unfortunately for this movie. I was getting for David Carradine. You know what I was thinking the entire time? I put Vince McMahon in the place of David Carradine because he just gave off such strong Vince McMahon vibes. Just like old man trying to fight people. And I found it hilarious that he, at the end, immediately gets his ass kicked.
Yeah, he just wanted to fight for no reason.
Yeah, he gets his ass kicked twice in this movie.
Yeah, by the big beefy dude, and then at the end,
Professor Toru Tanaka beats. I thought from the move that the professor does, and the sound design behind it, I thought he just crumpled him to pieces.
Well, David Carradine is used to being in chokeholds, so he probably liked it.
True. He's been training for this his whole life.
Yes,
On the backs of hotel doors from here to the other side of the world.
Yeah, that's it was. Maybe this is where he found the love for it. I was like, ooh, this kind of feels good.
So can we get another take of that? Just a little bit tighter this time.
Yeah, really go for it.
Speaking of Mark's opening bit about finding something that you like and you just run it into the ground, David Carradine could tell you about that if he was still alive.
I have in my notes when David Carradine dies, said not the worst way David Carradine has died.
Yeah, god damn, there's so many masturbation jokes from Carradine.
Yeah, so let's retcon that was my plan the whole time.
That was your plan the whole time. Mark's playing 4D chess.
Just genius level here.
Yeah. God damn. You gonna buy Twitter for $50 billion, Mark?
Yeah. It's the plan. And then fire 5,000 of the workers in the first 2 weeks, and then wonder why the website's falling apart.
Yeah.
Brilliant gamble, sir. Brilliant.
Yes.
At least you have excellent memes from 3 years ago.
Yeah, you could always fall back on that.
So, Martial Law from 1990 is directed by Steve Cohen, who's directed Devil in the Flesh, Tough and Deadly, Bar Hopping, and 10 Billy Joel music videos. I'd make a joke about only 80s Joel, but he directed videos in the 1970s too, unfortunately. Stars Chad McQueen, Cynthia Rothrock, David Carradine, Andy McCutcheon, Philip Tan, Tony Longo, Vincent Craig Dupree, Professor Toru Tanaka, and John Fujioka. IMDb score of 4.8, Rotten Tomatoes score 0, no score for critics, but 31% audience. And I did not find a budget for it, and obviously not box office because it was direct to video.
Yeah. I think one thing going back, one of my favorite just like ridiculous scenes was when they interrogate that one guy that has the tattoo of the assassins, and then he walks 5 feet down the street and gets killed with a ninja star in the back.
Yeah.
And then when it happens, Queen City Rocker go, "What happened? Where'd that come from?"
It's just a dude standing behind him on the steps. Yeah. I wish the fight scenes were more interesting. There was never really like a thing that was like, oh damn, did you see that thing? That was cool.
Yeah.
Like, because I remember from Mission of Justice, there being like there's a one scene in the garage, like the auto body shop, which was like pretty well done. And you see like even like a scene where he has to go through like some sort of gauntlet to get into like the secret society, which was was cool too. And then here it's just like, I don't know, just beating up a dude with a mustache outside of a car dealership. Who cares?
Right. I'm assuming the big martial arts scene was supposed to be him versus Carradine's right-hand man when he's trying to be a teacher.
Woo.
At the thing, Woo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's supposed to be the big like kung fu, throwback scene. And it's like,
It's short too.
Yeah.
They took no chances in this movie.
Yeah.
They played it very safe.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they even messed up the comedy bit with the big guy.
Tony Longo, the big ox from Angels in the Outfield.
Yeah. Yeah. Like there was there were some good jokes, like when they're getting ready for the heist, but I mean in that fight scene where they could have stretched that out a little bit longer and had it be a little bit funny, more humor in it before he actually knocks him out with the one punch.
Mm-hmm.
But everything was just barely not enough. Like stretched out things just a little longer, cut out some other things, and you could have had a pretty decent direct-to-video thing. But it looked like they took this way too seriously.
I also hated Michael.
Oh
yes,
God,
100%.
Yeah, I had written down where was it? I don't condone killing, but Michael needed to die sooner.
Yeah.
Like unbearable.
Like the first death.
Yes, he should have died. Like there should have been a scene where who's the main cop? What's his name? Chad McQueen.
Sean.
What's it?
Sean.
Okay, so there should have been an opening scene where Sean like helps Michael get out of a big like an arrest or whatever, right? He helps him out. And like, just like get your act straight. Mom's crying, blah blah blah. And Michael swears, yeah, I'm never going to do it again. and then maybe 2 or 3 scenes later, he's back at it again. Something goes wrong. He gets killed by David Carradine. Now you have the revenge plot there instead of just having to deal with Michael constantly fucking things up throughout the whole movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, hated him.
Yeah, this a lot of annoying characters.
Yeah, him and Faster.
Faster, terrible character, terrible. I don't understand what was his motivation. He wanted to be with David Carradine so badly.
Yeah.
Why? David Carradine wants him dead throughout the whole movie.
Yeah, and it's so funny. It's like his big gripe is that Michael let him go, not killed him.
Yeah, it's like, I'm going to make you pay for not killing me. What?
Yeah. Tell me to run.
They'll show you for sparing my life. It's such a weird character arc. The first time you see his character, Faster Brown, he delivers news that David Carradine has already gotten, right? It's like one of the henchmen is lying to David Carradine. So it was a pointless scene. What are we getting out of that?
Yeah, because that henchman we know is already dead.
Exactly. So are we supposed to just know that Faster Brown is an unreliable character?
Yeah, I guess the idea was they wanted him to be sort of like a boy who cried wolf, so that when he goes and reports on Michael, David Carradine doesn't believe him immediately.
Which he didn't already.
Yeah.
He hates Faster Brown.
Yeah, so that opening scene is just showing, that he's been trying to get in his good graces, but he keeps coming with these things that either David Carradine knows about or aren't true. So when he comes with the one thing that is true, well, not 100% true because he's not working with the cops and getting paid by them. But he there's enough doubt that, David Carradine would let him kill faster than believe him. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But it doesn't work, whatever they were trying to do.
Yeah. Do you guys want to get into the plot?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, why not?
Dan, what do you got?
I just want to tell you guys, as we do every week, to please check out 2 excellent podcasts. They're both friends of our show. So if you like what we do here, please go check them out. I'm, of course, talking about the Top 10 with Tia and Game Vault podcast. So Top 10 with Tia is a weekly podcast where our good friend Tia and her friend Brittany get together and discuss their top 10 lists of the week. If you enjoy that, go to geekvibesnation.com, search Top 10 with Tia, should pop right up. And also Game Vault podcast, if you're into video game news, this is the podcast for you. It's a bi-weekly podcast that comes out every other Monday with our good friend Mark, Tom, and Jen. And they talk about what's going on in the gaming world with news, games they've been playing, their retro game of the week. So if you like old school video games, they got you covered there. Go check them out on all socials at Game Vault Pod. They also stream on Twitch at Game Vault Pod. Go check them out. There's a ton of places to find them. They're all great. Anthony and I have been on a couple episodes here and there. So if you love the sultry sounds of our voice, go search our episodes. It's a lot of fun. And yeah, go check them out.
Okay, great. And we're going to take a quick break, and you guys are going to listen to messages from friends of the podcast. So we will be right back.
Hey, this is Ken M.
and Padawan J.
from the ODPH podcast.
Each week, we talk a parlay of topics.
That's right. Whether it's sports, pro wrestling, movies, TV, comics, and more, we've got a take on it.
And don't forget, odphpodcast.com for links for Patreon, TeePublic, and the Parlay Points blogs, and much more.
Thanks for listening to the ODPH podcast. Now back to your regularly scheduled show.
Welcome, travelers. Seems like you're looking for a story. Well, I got one for you. It involves adventure, friendship, and all sorts of...
Earl, why don't you tell him about that time I stole that big-ass melon?
Yeah, I was going for more...
Or you could tell him about the time I kicked her ass, Earl.
I wouldn't ever tell them.
Do I need to get my ref gear on?
Okay, everyone, shut up. Now come with me as I tell you a story from afar. Hey everybody, my name's David. I'm the DM for From Afar Podcast. A From Afar Podcast is all about 4 friends separated by distance, but brought together by adventure. Hope you all stop by and give us a listen. Thanks.
And welcome back. Now it's time to get into plot 4, Martial Law. We open on a hostage situation going on in a jewelry store. Outside, the cops are at their wits' end as the store owner is suggesting they just blast them away. But the sergeant in charge says there's too many hostages. And the hostage taker calls and says he wants pizza. So the sergeant says they're going to do just that and get them some pizzas. Inside, the hostage takers are getting nervous and starting to argue about the plan that brought them into this situation.
Yeah. Going back to this whole plan that this has, what was the big obsession in 80s, 90s hostage films where it was pizza followed by a helicopter? Like that's what all that's a good question. People hostage want.
Yeah, the helicopter was always a big trope, right?
Yeah.
Well, you can't get a plane.
Yeah.
Is it easier to fly a helicopter?
It's easier to land a helicopter on the roof.
I guess so. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's where that one comes from. But it's just like, it was always a pattern. It was like, we want food, give us pizza, and then bring us a helicopter.
Everybody loves pizza.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah.
You got to feed your hostages something.
Yeah, and it's quick. Get it there 30 minutes or less, right?
Yep.
I mean, it even moves on to today when I was playing a choose your own adventure type game that had a hostage situation. One of the things was the people you were fighting wanted pizza. And I'm like, was in the year 2022, they're still using this trope?
What should they
pizza, man?
What should they use now, Mark?
Chinese food?
Chinese food?
I mean, you can do just about anything, but it just seemed like to me, and it's more understandable for this movie than something made nowadays, because you would hope people have learned their lesson. But it just seems like lazy. Like, oh, what's the easy thing? Pizza. And not try to think of either something that's a good gag or that they want like this specific like sub sandwich or something. And it's just kind of funny that they're giving these ridiculous demands like that. That to me, that's more interesting. To just, if you want to show that these people have no idea what they're doing, it's like they make this ridiculously complicated order. And the cop goes, sure, and then you bring martial law in.
So you're mad at this movie for them or not ordering something complicated like Thai food?
Yeah, I mean, they needed to order the damn flashes of food, is what I'm saying.
Well, maybe AI will write a better a better trope. Like you could get some like Popeyes in there or something.
Yeah, well, whatever's the big food of the moment.
Yeah, sure.
If one year it'll be the Popeyes chicken sandwich, then the double down.
Double down.
They wanted pho.
The McRib.
Oh man, they should be blasted away just for that.
It's like the AI pulls in whatever from the internet people are talking about that week.
Oh God, that's a problem. Who knows what nastiness?
Pineapple on pizza.
There you go. The thing that we'll get to it but I specifically had a point to make about this scene, but I'll let Ant get to it before. I don't want to spoil it.
All right. You don't want to talk 5 more minutes about pizza?
It has to do with pizza, but you'll see when we get there. I'll leave it at that.
Okay. So the pizza guy shows up and the cops send him in by himself in order to pass the pizzas to the hostage takers. When he delivers the pizzas, he asks for his payment. So the hostage takers starting to knife him right in front of the cops. Seems like a bad idea.
Yeah, let's add murder to this.
Yeah. But they weren't expecting the pizza boy to be martial law himself, Chad McQueen.
Oh, so now this is the point I wanted to make. So do the cops have a pizza delivery car on standby just in case a robber wants pizza? Like that's one of their demands?
It's a good question.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I'm assuming that they actually called in the pizza, or they called Chad McQueen to go pick up a pizza, and he basically commandeered the delivery boy's car when he got there. He's like, I need to use your car.
Or it's like, I didn't realize if the car was painted or anything, or if it was just a thing on the roof. They could have just had extra things on the roof, like in the dominoes.
I need to see that scene where Chad McQueen is at a Domino's and he's getting his deep dish, and the call comes in over the squad car. We have robbery at Lippman Jewelers, and they're requesting a pizza, and then Chad McQueen just gives the side eye to the pizza delivery boy. So I'm gonna need to take that car, son. He's like, oh, not again.
Martial law.
Yeah, I want to see that so bad now.
Yeah, and part of me wants to do a deep dive too into did Domino's pay these places to use Domino's, or was Domino's the only one that wouldn't fight litigiously if you used their copyright in a movie?
I think Chad McQueen just stole a Domino's car.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like if they did Pizza Hut, would they've gotten sued into oblivion that they couldn't release the movie?
Pizza Hut only does Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle stuff. You know
Yeah.
that. That's their golden goose.
Martial law, Sean Thompson kicks one dude right through the storefront window, then beats up another guy and puts him through a jewelry display case, and then finally beats up the last guy. Then the sergeant pats martial law on the back for a job well done and drives off as the credits roll. After the credits, we see a couple of beat cops sitting in their car as one of them talks about how he found birth control pills in his wife's drawer while he's had a vasectomy. Man, that's
Communication,
drama.
guys.
That's the drama that should be talked about in this movie more.
Yeah, we need 10 more minutes of that. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
That's kind of like the theme of Pina Colada song, isn't it? Where if the one guy had a vasectomy and the other woman is having birth control pills, or they're basically doing the same thing without the other one knowing.
That's not the point.
Oh, no?
The point of this conversation is that why is she still taking birth control pills if he's had a vasectomy?
Okay.
She's fucking some dude on the side.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought it was basically neither of them knew what the other one was doing.
Well,
well,
that's true.
True, yeah, I guess.
But not specifically what you think it means.
He doesn't know what she's doing.
Right.
Oh.
She's probably banging martial law.
Who could blame her?
Yeah. And then a car blows past them and they get into a short, high-speed chase, eventually catching the driver as he tries to escape on foot. Sean gets brought to the station because the driver says he doesn't want to talk to anybody but him. And they bring him back to meet with the driver, and it turns out it's his younger brother, Michael. In the parking lot, Sean and Michael get into an argument over Michael's recent troubles. Michael says he was just hitchhiking when the driver started to speed all of a sudden. Sean tells Michael he has been put in his care ahead of his court date, and then drives Michael home to their mom's house on his motorcycle. The next day, Sean teaches a martial arts class at a local dojo. After pairing off the students, he asks one of them where Billy is, and the student says she's pulled a double that night. At home, Michael's practicing martial arts when his mom comes in and tells him there's a phone call for him. He takes it, then immediately picks up his things and leaves as his mom tries to ask him what he wants for dinner.
Was it hamburgers or chicken? It's important stuff. Got to put that line of dialogue in there.
Makes it seem grounded, Dan.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
He goes out and gets picked up by a car with a couple of guys in it, and one of the guys tells him that Mr. Rhodes wants to see him. So he gets in the car. They go to Mr. Rhodes, David Carradine's place, and he starts to interrogate them about the night before. He asks who was driving the car, and one of the other guys, Zeke, immediately places the blame on Michael, saying he was driving. Michael tries to stick up for himself, but there's no need. Mr. Rhodes already knows it was the other guy driving, and after taking a bow staff to the guy's nuts, he then bashes him right between the eyes and kills him. It's very weak.
Yeah. David Carradine gives the softest kill tap.
Yeah. He's like a
raises
feather touch. Like if he's playing pool and he just does like a feather touch.
Yeah.
Yeah, like your description of it made me laugh more than the actual scene.
Yeah.
Where a bow staff to the nuts should immediately give laughter.
Well, you have to, like, David Carradine doesn't know his own strength, so he has to really pull the punches, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
He learned that lesson the hard way, not knowing his own strength.
That's a good point.
At his apartment, Sean is post-coitus with his girlfriend, Billy, who then gets up to get dressed for her shift on the Vice Squad. Zeke's body, meanwhile, is found in a dumpster behind a Chinese restaurant. The cops bring Michael in to identify the body through pictures. He confirms that this was the guy that he was quote-unquote hitchhiking with. Cops say Zeke's fingerprints were all over the car and that they have an APB out on a guy named Faster Brown who had some sort of falling out with Zeke recently. Sean goes to take Michael home, and outside, Sean tries to get Michael to get the DA to drop the charges. Michael says he's working on it, but he can't promise anything. Meanwhile, Mr. Rhodes meets with some guys he's doing deals with, and already the relationship isn't built on trust, as Mr. Rhodes has to make sure all the money is there. Rhodes has his man Wu count it, and then they all leave to go check out the merchandise. As they leave, Faster Brown tries to get Mr. Rhodes' attention, but Wu won't let him get any closer to Mr. Rhodes. Rhodes tells Faster that he has 3 seconds to tell him what he wants. Faster says he has some information, which he'll trade for a job back in Rhodes' dealings. Faster tells Rhodes that Zeke has been stealing from him, and Rhodes tells him that Zeke has been dealt with. And he tells Faster to get lost. Rhodes takes the group into a warehouse and shows them the merchandise, which is a series of exotic cars that have stolen for Chang's clients. One of the things that pissed me off about it is that one of those cars has their bumper is like torn to shreds.
They just whatever was in the lot.
Yeah, it's just like it's beat up.
Yeah, I'm glad you noticed that too. As soon as you stopped it, I'm like, yeah, he's gonna mention the car. It looks like it's been through some shit.
Yeah, it's like front and center in the shot too.
Yeah.
The part that annoyed me in that scene is they start with these really nice cars, and then the last car that they leave off on is just some like piece of shit like racer car.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like it belongs in like the 40s, 50s.
Yeah. Well, indie racing and Mario Andretti were very popular in 1990.
Yeah. Were they? Was that a thing? Did I miss out on that? I was too young.
Yeah, I mean, at least in the early 90s, I know he had his own video game. So
I guess it checks out.
I'm sure Chang's clients are playing that video game.
Yeah. Well, no, Mario Andretti was going all over the world.
It seems so out of place. Again, it was whatever they had on the lot that day. Like, yeah, throw it in there.
What I'm imagining that last car was supposed to be was like a reveal, and then like the writer or director or whoever was going to be like, yeah, when they reveal this, the audience goes, oh, that's that new car. You know, it's supposed to get, and probably if you went to the actual theaters when it was released, it was like, be like more like Dan's reaction, like, what the fuck is that?
I think all the cars are like pristine white cars, and then the last car is just like beat up junk red.
Yeah, and they make a bigger deal about that car, you know, than the other ones, and that's why it's very much burned in my head that the people that wrote the movie thought that was going to be a bigger deal than it was.
So, like, part of me wanted to say, like, all right, so, and I'm probably digging too deep into this, because Steve McQueen, he raced cars, right?
Yes. I was going to say, I wonder if that was his car.
Yeah, so I thought maybe that was an homage, or it was his car. I was like, I don't know if I'm digging
like
too
muscle
deep.
Cars?
He raced all kinds of cars, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I'm not too up on his racing days. I just know that he did race cars, so I thought maybe it was like an homage.
Could be.
Hey, who knows?
I mean, it doesn't make sense anyway.
No.
You know?
Why would it be there? They should have had a throwaway line like, "Oh, this belonged to Steve McQueen."
Very meta.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then Chang asks about the turbo, but Rhodes tells him that there was a complication with the turbo, but they will get it. That's the car that Michael and Zeke were trying to steal the night before. At a nightclub later, Sean shows up to talk with some undercover cops. They tell him that they found Faster Brown in the club. They don't want to go in there. Billy walks up too, and Sean says that if he's got a girl with him, Faster will be less likely to make him for a cop.
I call bullshit.
Yeah, how?
Because if I was in that club, I would immediately pick both of them as cop.
So Sean and Billy go into the club to find Faster. Michael's off stealing the turbo. Michael brings it to the warehouse and brings it to Wu, who tells him to wash it and then get ready in exchange for an envelope full of cash. Back at the club, random girls are kissing Sean on the dance floor and handing him condoms. I've been there before, man.
Just being showered with condoms.
Yeah. Then they spot Faster sitting at a table with a girl in his lap. Sean approaches Faster and he flashes his badge. Faster then makes the most subtle move to get out of the chair, but it's enough for Sean to kick him right in the face. Then an all-out brawl takes place as Sean and Billy have to punch and kick some more. A bunch of patrons of the club. Meanwhile, Mr. Rhodes is delivering the final card to Chang, then decides that he wants more. So he bargains with Chang, saying he wants a fight with Chang's big henchman for no real reason.
Yeah, he just wants to fight.
If Rhodes loses, the cars are free, but if he wins, the cars are double the price, and the fight will be to the death. So Chang scoffs, but it's on. And Rhodes immediately gets his body crushed by Chang's guy, but when the goon goes to give the final blow, Rhodes hits him first with some sort of five-finger death punch right to the chest, dropping the goon where he stands.
I was shocked at how that fight scene went. How quickly David Carradine's character just gets like
crumpled.
Yeah.
That's the only way to describe it.
Yeah, like ragdoll mechanics.
Yeah,
it's like the guy like grabs him like almost like he's gonna do like a DDT or whatever, but around the waist, and then you just hear like bones crunching And then David Carradine just dropped to the floor in a heap.
I'm like, oh, well, I guess that's the end of David Carradine.
Yeah. Up until like 3 seconds later, you think, oh, well, all right. They had David Carradine for all of 3 days on set, and now he's dead.
What a great way to go out too, right? just gets choked out by a massive hulking goon. Like, oh, I guess there's a new bad guy. There's a new main villain now.
That's what it seemed like it was going to be.
Yeah, just it's such an awkward scene.
At the club, they arrest Faster, and then Sean and Billy go back to the apartment, and then they fuck. In the morning, Sean calls Michael and tells him he wants to meet him by the hot dog stand. So I find this funny because he names it. He's like, meet me by Millie's hot dog stand, right? So we'll get to it.
He must be a frequent frequent buyer of Millie's hot dogs.
And it's literally a dirty water cart on the beach.
So weird.
I was thinking it's like they're going to like Pink's or something, like, a famous hot dog restaurant in Los Angeles. But no, it's literally just some random ass hot dog stand on the beach.
It's what I like. So that part is funny in the scene, and then there's a line of dialogue where Cynthia Rothrock asks Chad McQueen where he's going, and he's like, "Oh, something I got to take care of." And she goes, "Well, why don't sooner or later you're gonna have to trust me?" And Chad McQueen says, "I do trust you." And she responds, "I know you trust me." What?
In this moment, I 100% wanted her to be like double cross Chad McQueen by the end of the movie.
Ooh. So she'd be the baddie.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Like when she said, "You gotta trust me," I'm like, I was just perfectly leaning to he gives a piece of information and then she passes it along to David Carradine's character. And that's how Michael dies.
That would be so much more interesting than what really happens in this movie.
Yeah. So Michael hangs up and Billy manages to get Sean to open up to him about what's going on with Michael, especially the fact that he's been getting into trouble since their dad died. Sean meets Michael at the literal hot dog stand on the beach, and Sean tells Michael that he got him a meeting with the DA. But Michael is pissed off that Sean hasn't been able to get the charges dropped. But Sean tells Michael the meeting's in the morning and that this is the best chance he has. At night, Billy and another cop are staking out a place based on a tip where they see a few guys making a drop. They turn on their sirens and shootout. It starts immediately. The other cop gets shot in the leg. And the guys run, and Billy takes off on foot chasing them down. One of the guys hides in the men's bathroom at some park, and he winds up hiding in a stall that already has Chang's goon's dead body. Goes to leave, but Billy shows up and knocks him out with a punch. Mr. Rhodes meets with a guy he calls Colonel as they're making a shady deal. Rhodes demands $1 million up front for the deal, $1 million on delivery. Colonel's guy thinks it's bullshit, but the Colonel reluctantly agrees and then leaves the car and then leaves. The coroner does an autopsy on Chang's goon, with Sean and Billy there. He shows them and their sergeant the bruise on his chest. Sean clocks it as a mark that dates back to Chinese monks and is a deadly martial arts move. And he mentions that the tattoo on the goon's arm means that the guy is part of the Tong Lin gang.
This is a pretty funny scene as well. The coroner says the goon was either hit by a truck or beaten to death. There's nothing in between. He's either hit by a big truck or beaten up. I feel like that you could tell the difference if someone got hit by a goddamn truck.
When there's a diamond-shaped contusion on the chest, you know what? I don't know if the truck is going to just do that.
Yeah, the truck would flatten you.
Is there any truck company out there whose logo is diamond shaped?
I guess Chrysler could maybe.
Yeah.
But again, it's just like it's such a narrow field to say either a truck or beaten to death.
And here's the truth. And here's the truth about that fight. He's got one wound on him because that's the only shot David Carradine gets in on that fight.
Right.
So it was not hit by a truck. He's got one mark.
I have a feeling if you got hit by a truck, your whole body would just be one big bruise.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's supposed to be LA, right?
Yeah.
That coroner has slash energy. Like he's the coroner / taxidermist /
he's pulling double duty.
Yeah, just has multiple jobs within the city. Animal control, like, and they bring him in like, oh, well, the only thing I can find is either hit by a truck or got beat up.
Listen, I gotta go capture a raccoon on Rodeo Drive, so could you guys take over here? Thank you.
Yeah, there's this weird thing on his chest. That probably has something to do with it. I'll see you guys later.
Some kind of mark on his chest. I can't quite tell what it is.
He's a coroner and an animal dentist.
Yeah.
The sergeant then puts Sean and Billy on the case to find out what's going on. Meanwhile, Rhodes goes to the drop with the colonel's guys, and immediately the colonel's guys reveal that they have no money in their briefcases, and they plan to take whatever merchandise they were getting without pay. But when Rhodes opens the back of his truck, it's revealed that they don't have any merchandise, and it's just Wu and some other guys with guns. So both sides showed up to a shady deal without their end of the bargain.
So my question with the money case thing, like, if I remember correctly, and because I watched this a little bit ago, it's literally just like a pistol in there.
Yeah.
Like, was it strapped down? Like, how wasn't that thing like bouncing around inside that metal case?
I think it was just a performative measure, yeah.
Yeah, but it's just like I was expecting him to pull out something a little more sturdier, but it was just like a handgun inside this giant suitcase, and it was like, oh, like that's either a really good job hiding it, or it's one of those suspension of disbelief things. Where it's like, sure, of course that would happen, fine.
Yeah. Sean and Billy head to Chinatown, and they follow a guy named Ling. Then Sean pulls a gun on him, asking what he knows about the Tong Ling. Ling says he doesn't deal with them now that he's an American, but he can't talk to the cops because the Tong Ling will kill him. Sean says he'll do even worse if he doesn't talk.
I don't know about you, but the beginning of this interrogation should have been Cynthia Rothrock with some kind of heel on, just pinning him up against the fence, like, instead of the gun.
You into that?
Well, yeah. Have you watched any of my content on video games? Yeah, because only because I'm saying it was stuck with the martial law thing instead of them using guns,
Sure.
Essentially. But yes,
I
would like her to step on me. Or hit me with a shovel, one or the other.
So Cynthia Rothrock, if you're listening, Mark would like you to hit him with a shovel or step on him. Your choice.
Your choice. But yeah, that would just, without any of the weird kink jokes, I just felt that them using guns here was sort of out of character for what they were presenting them as the other side of the law. That they were the ones called in when guns weren't needed.
Sure. Chad's got to threaten a witness, a potential witness, with blowing his brains out.
Yeah, it just seemed out of character.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, quick question.
Yeah.
And I should have brought this up earlier. Does Chad McQueen's character belong to a special unit called martial law, or do they just call him martial law?
They just call him martial law.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's more of like they're making fun of him in a way.
Kind of.
Okay. I didn't know. I wasn't sure if the LAPD had a special unit called martial law.
I mean, that would be
for martial art officers.
It's like 6 of them.
Yeah, it's because at the beginning, like, I'll call off the SWAT team. Because I guess they're bringing in martial law. That's so weird.
And then Sean says he'll do even worse if he doesn't talk, and then tells him that he needs to find out everything by the morning. So Ling walks down the alley and is immediately killed by a throwing star in the back.
Sorry, I love this scene.
Sean and Billy run over, and they wind up fighting a whole bunch of dudes in the alleyway. They kick all the guys' asses up and down the alley and bring one in for questioning, but the guy doesn't talk. Faster gets released, and Sean goes to the courthouse to see Michael after his meeting with the DA. Michael says the DA said he'll review his case, and Sean says that means he must believe Michael. Sean tells Michael he wants to help him get a job, and Michael blows him off because he's a piece of shit. Sean convinces him to take some money to buy their mom a gift for her birthday. And all this is being watched by Faster. Sean then goes to see their mom, and then Faster is held up in his apartment as the cops stake out his apartment while waiting for him to make a move. But he tells his girl that he has information that he can't wait to tell Rhodes to shove it up Rhodes' ass, apparently. So he convinces his girl to go outside to distract the cops. She winds up writing on their windshield with lipstick, which the cops take offense to. And then Faster manages to slink away with the distraction. And then Sean goes, okay.
I don't think you can call what he did slinking. It was more equivalent to Forrest Gump when he was leaving his house. Like, just came out just full on sprint.
Sean goes to leave his mom's place, and she says that she's worried about Michael because she found a whole bunch of money in his room. Meanwhile, Faster goes to Rhodes' dojo and gets put in front of Rhodes with some information, as he says. So Rhodes brings Faster in front of Michael, who is training at the dojo. Rhodes tells Michael that Faster is saying that Michael is working for the cops because he saw Michael take money from a cop. Michael denies it, so Rhodes puts them both in a limo and they drive off. Takes them to Griffith Observatory and he takes them out of the car. Rhodes hands Michael a gun and tells him to shoot Faster or tell him the truth. Michael hesitates and Faster runs for it, so Rhodes tells him to go chase him and kill Faster if he really isn't working with the cops. So Michael chases after him. They wind up fighting in the observatory. Eventually, Michael grabs the gun and shoots it in the air, telling Faster to run for it, and he's going to pretend that he shot him. So Faster runs off. In the morning, the Colonel's man is found dead with the same bruise in his chest, and Sean and Billy can't seem to figure out what he and Chang's goon have in common. Meanwhile, Michael is back in Rhodes' good graces as he's preparing to go steal another car for him. But as he goes to the Porsche dealership, he's followed by Faster, who takes great offense to the fact that Michael didn't shoot him, I suppose. He calls Sean from a payphone to tell him that there's a Grand Theft Auto in progress that he might have some personal interest in.
Yeah, Faster just wanted the sweet release of death.
Yeah, it seems like it.
Apparently, this guy is on a one-way trip to the grave.
Yeah, he really wants it, and it might be because he might have like some underlying like drug addiction because he seems pretty antsy.
Yeah.
So Faster gives him the address, and as Michael and another guy are about to steal the car, Sean and Billy show up on the scene. They scatter. Billy goes chasing after the other guy, and Sean chases Michael, though he doesn't realize it's Michael yet. Billy catches up to the other guy, and they have a good old-fashioned kick fight until Billy wins. Sean catches up to Michael, and when he realizes who it is, he's pissed, but tells Michael to get out of there. When he gets back to the car with Billy, Sean tells her that the other person got away. Michael goes to the beach and throws the money he got from the job into the river, or into the ocean. And meanwhile, the other guy is being interrogated, though he won't talk. Sean goes to teach martial arts class, but he's real mopey about it, and the one time he gets hit, he beats the shit out of his student and walks away.
It's not supposed to be funny, but I did laugh out when he knocks the student down. It's completely unnecessary.
Yeah. Sean and Billy go for a walk in the park, and Sean tells her about the fact that the other guy from the other night was Sean, and that he let him go. Talks about regrets that he has surrounding his dad's death, and how he disappeared to Hong Kong to fight in tournaments when Michael could have used him as a father figure. Faster goes to the club to find his girl to try and get some money from her, but she blows him off, saying she's on an ATM. But one of Rhodes' goons spots Faster, who is posed to be dead. While they're at the precinct, Michael calls Sean, but Wu winds up walking into his house and takes the phone from him, then takes him to Rhodes, where he already has Faster talking his ear off, telling Rhodes that Michael didn't kill him because he doesn't have the balls, and that Michael's brother is a cop.
I think around this time in the movie, it really started to drag, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not a lot is going on at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, Michael should have been dead 10 minutes earlier.
Yeah, at the very least.
Yeah. Rhodes tells Faster and Michael that they could fight it out to see who lives, and hands each of them nunchucks to fight. So they fight right there in the office, and Michael manages to knock Faster on the ground. Rhodes orders Michael to kill Faster, saying Faster would have killed him if he got the chance. But Michael won't, and then Rhodes shoots Faster instead. Then grabs the nunchucks out of Michael's hands, and then does the fine-finger death punch thing and kills him. Back at the mom's house, she's opening a present from Sean and Billy when a cop comes to the door and tells them that Michael is dead. And Rhodes takes a meeting with the Colonel. Colonel says his man was acting alone when they tried to screw Rhodes over, but Rhodes says that his price has now gone up. Colonel delivers a briefcase and says the other half will be upon delivery. And Rhodes says that he'll let the Colonel know when the delivery will be made.
Yeah, the Sonny Chiba movie has ruined my expectations for the briefcases to just be full of flyers and not actual money every time they open it.
Billy and Sean turn Michael's room upside down, trying to find information on how Michael is involved with the gang. Sean finds a karate trophy and puts together that this must be how Michael and Zeke are connected, and that's how they must recruit kids for their business.
This is my question. How doesn't the mother at any point mention to Michael, your Sean, your brother's taking up karate just like you. You should see him. He's real good. He's got a trophy and all.
She's probably a drunk.
Yeah.
Really? That would make sense if...
Yeah.
Right, because they make a point to show her watching him perform some type of martial art in his room, right?
Yeah.
So that would have made more sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. The whole hiding the martial arts is kind of weird to me.
Yeah.
And also this whole scene with them before answering the door at the cop. It's something that would not happen today because everybody in that house would know where Michael is because they would have been texting him for the last 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and they would have known to go check on him before that cop came to the door.
Right. Sean goes to the dojo and watches a class. Meanwhile, Wu takes care of the shipment from the colonel, which happens to be military-grade weapons. After the class, Sean talks to the instructor, saying he's looking for a teaching position. The guy tells him they don't need any more instructors, but Sean breaks a bunch of cement blocks on his way out, so he starts to reconsider. After a quick scene at the precinct where the sergeant basically tells him he's not stepping in, but he just wants to make sure Sean does the right things, Sean goes back to the dojo and takes on Wu as some sort of job interview.
Yeah, the micromanager, totally not micromanaging. Not making sure you're doing it right, but, make sure you do it right.
How funny would it have been in that scene where Sean asks to be an instructor, and the guy tells him they're not looking for one, and he just breaks the stones, and they look back like, okay, that doesn't change anything. I said we weren't hiring. A position doesn't open because you broke stones. That's not how it works.
Those ain't your stones, man.
Yeah, like now you gotta pay for those. I hope you know that. Not only do you not have a job, you're out more money.
Yeah. So he parries Wu a bit and manages to knock Wu on his ass, but Wu is impressed. Then the other instructor, the big ox from Angels in the Outfield, wants to spar with him too. Sean lands some direct hits on the guy, which do absolutely nothing. Then Sean gives him a kick in the nuts and a headbutt that seems to do the trick. Billy tries to talk to Sean, but he says he's going to do this his way. So he sneaks into the dojo late at night and breaks into the back office and finds the name Dalton Rhodes. So he calls someone at the precinct and tells them to pull any information on the name. The next morning, Rhodes acknowledges there was a break-in into Wu, and they immediately know it's Sean.
Yeah, like, is he the world's worst cop for breaking in, or are we to assume that he has some kind of surveillance?
I don't know. I don't know if Sean was trying to hide it. I don't know.
That's true. I don't know. Yeah, they don't dive into that.
Yeah.
It's getting towards the end of the movie, so they needed to just
hurry
that up along.
Yeah.
Sean shows the info that he pulled on Rhodes to Billy, everything from extortion to illegal fighting. He then gets a call from Wu saying that they have a job that night looking for extra muscle that pays $1,000. He agrees, and it's obvious to us that this is a setup. Then a training montage. Very quick training montage. And out of that
that was so funny. I'm sorry. The training montage on the beach.
Yes.
He's stretching to the beat of the song. Anytime he does a quick motion, it's on the downbeat.
Yeah.
It's perfectly synced. It's hilarious.
Yeah, it's like, I'm assuming the music came in post and they weren't playing it while they were filming. And I wouldn't want to be that sound designer's job. It's like, all right, we have this training montage. You need to find me a beat that matches every move he makes. Go.
Then out of the montage, Sean gets ready to go, and Billy tries to convince him to let him help her. Does he have an Eagles tattoo on his arm? Chad McQueen. I thought he had a tattoo. It looked like the Eagles logo. I could be wrong.
That'd be funny.
Like my Eagles or the Eagles?
Like the Eagles.
Okay.
Eagles.
Not the band.
No.
Yeah, they're the Eagles.
Yeah. But he says he needs to do this on his own. He drives over to the dojo and they get into a limo with Wu as they go to a second location. On the drive over, Billy follows in her car, but she gets stuck behind a semi that pulls out in front of her and winds up losing the limo. They go to a warehouse with the other guys, and then Rhodes shows up and introduces himself to Sean. He then says that in 5 minutes they're leaving because he has to catch a plane, quote unquote. So they drive over with some box trucks and head to the airport where they meet up with the colonel to deliver the arms. Once they get the other half of the money, Rhodes orders his men to murder the colonel and all his men, as he says, the 2-for-none deal. But then he has Wu kill all his men anyway, except for Sean, saying he doesn't like to leave middlemen. And he orders Sean into the airport hangar to test if Michael was right when it comes to Sean's skills at martial arts. So they fight. Sean immediately puts Rhodes on his ass. And then Rhodes orders to Wu to shoot Sean because he lost. But then Billy comes out of nowhere and kicks the gun out of Wu's hands. So Billy fights Wu while Sean continues his fight with Rhodes. Eventually, Billy gets the best of Wu, at one point hitting him right in the face with a giant wrench. Then Sean gets Rhodes on the floor and continues to punch him like the old man he is, right in the face, until Billy pulls him off of him.
For a climactic fight, this guy murdered your brother. I didn't feel the intensity. it felt like all the other fights in the movie. It was very lackluster, just kind of going through the motions. I needed to feel that energy, and it didn't really bring it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They go to leave, but then Rhodes pops up ready to stab Billy with the pointy end of the giant wrench. But Sean does the 5-figure death punch, and Rhodes collapses and dies. Then Billy and Sean walk away. And that is the end of martial law.
It just ends.
Just ends.
That's it. Couldn't figure out how to resolve the rest of the movie, I guess.
Nope.
And by the way, guys, Cars completely makes it impossible to search for Chad McQueen tattoo, because I just got a whole bunch of image searches of Lightning McQueen tattoo.
Oh, there you go.
People have. So I couldn't answer that question for you yet.
Sorry.
Is Chad McQueen on Twitter? Can we reach him and ask if he has an
there's an
eagle tattoo?
I think there may be an Instagram, but yeah, all the image searches were all people with Lightning McQueen tattoos. I'm like, this isn't helping.
That must feel pretty awkward to be like the third most popular McQueen. It's Steve McQueen, Lightning McQueen,
and
Chad McQueen.
Yeah, and it's not even like he has like nothing to be famous for besides his dad. I mean, he's in Karate Kid, and I'm assuming he comes back for Cobra Kai because everyone came back for Cobra Kai.
I didn't see his name in the in there, but I could be wrong.
I'm just assuming because just about everybody, but I think now I could be wrong on this. I think everybody but Hilary Swank basically that was involved in those movies made some kind of appearance.
Everyone who had dignity didn't make an appearance.
Yeah. But yeah, that was the thing I complained about earlier. Because you guys are saying how quickly the movie ends is that he literally makes himself culpable for 4 murders by punching this guy with the special punch, and they don't resolve that at all.
But I think, and I don't mean to cut you off, but I think you probably get some leeway because David Carradine murdered like 20 people in that airport.
No, I know. It's just I mean, just they come back. Yeah, this guy murdered 20 people, but apparently you're a serial killer, as well. But I don't know. I'm thinking a little too deeply into the movie Marshall from 1990.
Yeah, I think it's a fine line there, I'll say.
Yeah. I mean, it was on paper, it probably looked like a cool way. It's like, oh, he killed him with his punch.
Yeah. That's the only way this movie can end. You can't have David Carradine do it 3 times and then not have him die that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they very easily could have done something different, and then that would have just ruined everything, I think.
That's true. Yeah.
But yeah, they set it up beautifully because, and I know that sounds awkward saying that, but they have that scene in the middle of the movie where Chad McQueen identifies the blow, like the marking, so he knows about it. So meaning he knows how to do it at least.
Yeah.
You gotta throw that in there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that is martial law, and we're gonna take a quick break. And we have one more segment tonight, but we're going to take a quick break before that so you can listen to some ads so pay those bills. And we will be right back. And welcome back. Now it's time for the final segment of the episode. And this week we are calling it Nepo Baby Filmography.
Yeah.
Chad McQueen is a Nepo baby. His dad, obviously, is Steve McQueen. So I have 3 movies from 10 Nepo babies. You have to tell me who the Nepo baby is. Okay?
Yeah.
I love it.
All right.
Jamie Lee Curtis.
All right. Let's go with first one. Here's the 3 movies. We have Dirty Grandpa, The Disaster Artist, Zombieland 2, Double Tap.
So this Nepo baby was in all 3?
Yep.
Okay.
Or can we just yell it if we know it?
Sure.
Okay. As Zoe Deutsch.
That is correct.
Hey, nice.
Leah Thompson's daughter. Yeah.
Yep.
Wow, nice job.
Yeah.
Which movie gave it away?
The last one, Zombieland 2.
Zombieland.
Yeah. Because in my head, I'm like, you wouldn't have said Zombieland 2 if it was any of the original zombie people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I
forgot the movie existed, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I watched it 2 nights ago.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know why.
All right, next one. The Nice Guys, Death Note, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
It's a tough one. Death Note the movie, right? Not the
Correct.
not the anime.
All these are movies.
Gotcha. It's a female actor, right?
Mm-hmm.
I forget her name. It's like Margaret.
I'll give it to you. It's Margaret Qualley.
Okay, yeah, it was the hippie one, the hippie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jennifer Connelly's daughter.
Andy McDowell.
Andy McDowell. Okay, I knew it was one of those from the 80s.
All right, next one. This is 40. Cowboys and Aliens. Ingrid Goes West.
Is it one of Apatow's kids?
It is not one of Apatow's kids.
Okay, I was gonna say because they're both in it.
Right.
In This is 40, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, that'd be Maud, but
Maud and the other one.
And the other one. Oh boy.
And the sad part is we watched Cowboys and Aliens.
We did, yeah, for this podcast. Mark, do you have any?
No, I'm drawing a blank.
Me neither.
It is Wyatt Russell.
Yeah.
Oh wow, he was in This is 40. I haven't seen that movie in forever.
He plays a hockey player at the bar that's chatting up Leslie Mann.
I did not know that. Cool. He's like one of my favorite Nepo babies. I like Wyatt Russell. He's pretty good.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
All right, next one. King Kong, The House Bunny, Tenacious D, The Pick of Destiny.
Not the 1933 King Kong, right?
Obviously not.
Is it the 1973?
Oh, no. Okay.
The 2005. The Peter Jackson.
Oh, Peter Jackson. Okay. Boy.
Yeah.
Oh, I know who it is. Mark, do you know who it is?
No, go ahead.
Colin Hanks.
It is Colin Hanks.
Yeah. I remember him in King Kong. I don't remember him in anything else.
And now that you say it, The House Bunny, I do.
I've never seen The House Bunny. That might be why. What was the third one, Ant?
Tenacious D, The Pick of Destiny.
Isn't that? I've seen that. I don't remember him being in it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
All right, next one. The Social Network, Our Idiot Brother, The Muppets.
Yeah,
this is a tough one. So I don't think I've seen any of those movies.
You haven't seen The Social Network?
Oh no, I've seen The Social Network. That I have, but it's been a long time.
Trying to run that. I'm using The Social Network because it's the only one I can remember.
I've never seen Our Idiot Brother, but I know that's a Paul Rudd movie. Wait a minute. No, I think she's the only person I can think of in The Social Network is Rashida Jones, and she's a Nepo baby.
Oh no, I know. Dakota Johnson.
Nope, Dan was right. It's Rashida Jones.
Oh, okay.
I remember her being, again, I've never seen my Idiot Brother, but I know she's in the Social Network. She's the lawyer.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's where I was going to, because I remember Dakota Johnson's in a quick scene with Justin Timberlake. So I thought that's where Ant was trying to get us.
Is she also a Nepo baby?
She is a Nepo baby.
Yeah.
Her parents are Don Johnson and Melanie Griffith.
Oh, okay. Interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
All right. Next one. The Fault in Our Stars, The Founder, Little Women.
Ooh, I've seen The Founder. That's Michael Keaton, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nick Offerman. No. I don't know this one.
Mark, any guesses?
Any guess?
And this is the 2019 Little Women.
Yeah. So I'm trying to remember because now I'm drawing a blank, but I'm thinking it's because that's Shailene Woodley, right? That's the star of Fault in My Stars.
Fault in Our Stars is Shailene Woodley.
Yeah, and I don't think she's a Nepo. Unless
I don't think she's in The Founder either.
No.
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank on this one.
My only guess would be it's one of the four Little Women, right?
It is not.
Oh.
Tricked you on this one.
So it's the guy.
No.
Is it Laura Dern?
It is Laura Dern.
Oh, no way. I didn't know that. I know she's in The Founder.
She is the daughter of Diane Ladd and Bruce Dern.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Mm-hmm.
Good trick there.
Mm-hmm. Well, in more recent movies, so you would think that it's someone younger.
Yeah.
You fooled us. You definitely fooled us. I just took a...
Yeah, most of my thought there was trying to figure out who the lead in Fault of Our Stars was.
I figured, again, having seen The Founders, like obviously it's not Michael Keaton, it's not Nick Offerman. I'm trying to think who else was. I think like Patrick Wilson is in it. I didn't think he was. Linda Cardellini is in it, I think, as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it was between Linda Cardellini and Laura Dern.
Sure. All right. Here's another one. The Mortal Instruments, City of Bones, Oakjaw, and Extremely Wicked, Shockingly Evil, and Vile.
I've seen that. That's the Ted Bundy movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is it just because I feel like you would put her in here, so I'm going to throw a guess. It's not Lily Rose Depp.
It is not.
Okay.
I feel like she doesn't have enough things. I
was just thinking she might have been in Mortal Instruments and maybe had like a quick role in the other movies.
She's in a lot of things, isn't she now?
Yeah.
She's in Yoga Hosers.
Yeah, she's in that new series with The Weeknd.
Yeah.
Yeah, on HBO.
Yeah.
I don't know this one.
It's Lily Collins.
Oh, Phil Collins' daughter.
That she's the lead in Mortal Instruments, correct?
I think so.
Yeah.
For some reason, Jen and I were talking about her. I can't remember why we brought her. I think we were talking about like the Tarzan. The Tarzan soundtrack.
You weren't discussing Emily in Paris.
I've never seen that.
All right. I think I got like 2 more.
Okay. Yeah, this is fun.
Yeah.
Okay. 3 more. All right. Due Date, Being John Malkovich, and Machete Kills.
All right. So I've seen 2 of those movies. I've seen Due Date and Machete Kills. This is a tough one too, because those are older movies.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like someone younger, like maybe one of the kids in Due Date. Could be wrong though.
Yeah. A lot of this with this thing is a lot of the actors coming into my head. I'm pretty sure are not Nepo.
Oh, it's not a younger person, is it?
Nope.
I know who. It's Charlie Sheen, isn't it?
He's credited in Machete Kills as Carlos Estevez, but it is Charlie Sheen
because he's in Due Date.
Yep. I think he plays, according to IMDb, he plays his character from 2.5 Men in Due Date.
And John Cryer's in it as well.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think they quote unquote reprise their characters.
Mm-hmm. All right, 2 more. We have Gangster Squad, Planet Terror, and Milk.
Seen Gangster Squad, never saw Milk. I know one of the big names in Gangster Squad is Josh Brolin. He's a Nepo baby. I'm gonna go Josh Brolin.
It is Josh Brolin.
Yeah, he's the only person I could think of from Gangster Squad. And Sean Penn is in both as well, but he's not a Nepo baby.
Ryan Gosling might be in Gangster Squad as well.
Maybe. Anthony Mackie's in Gangster Squad as well, isn't he?
I don't know. I just remember it was not that I've seen it, but I heard it was pretty terrible.
Yeah, Emma Stone was in it as well. Giovanni Ribisi. I remember that movie for some reason. It was terrible.
It's like reading off the entire cast.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen it.
And last one. The Social Network, Need for Speed, Bad Times at the El Royale.
Rashida Jones. What were they again? I'm sorry.
The Social Network, Need for Speed, and Bad Times at the El Royale.
That's with Chris Hemsworth?
I think so, yeah.
All right, hold on. No, he's not in The Social Network, is he? But he's in Bad Times. I don't think I've ever seen Need for Speed. Need for Speed is the Tom Cruise movie?
No.
It's the Aaron Paul
movie. Yeah.
Oh, man. This is tough because I've seen Bad Times at El Royale. I've seen Social Network.
Yeah. Oh.
Not sticking out to me.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll just have the same guess I had with Social Network last time. But I doubt she's in the other 2 movies. But just to have an answer from someone, Dakota Johnson.
It's Dakota Johnson.
Hey!
Oh, nice. There you go.
I'm surprised you didn't get it like immediately.
In the back of my head, I'm like, it can't be because he played it really straight when I brought her up before.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Social Network is loaded with Nepo babies. Armie Hammer, who is technically a Nepo baby.
Yeah.
Bad Times at El Royale has Jeff Bridges, right?
Does it? I have no idea. I don't think I've ever actually seen this.
I think he would count as a Nepo baby.
Oh, yeah. Lloyd Bridges.
Yeah.
Huge.
Yeah, it was like one of those things with Dakota Johnson where I saw the clip for some reason came up on TikTok for some odd reason with her and Justin Timberlake. And I'm looking at him like, I think that's Dakota Johnson. And I had to go to like IMDb. I'm like, I don't even remember that in there. But that movie is like, like you said, loaded with people that had connections.
Yeah. And that's my game.
That's pretty fun.
Thank you for playing.
Yeah,
I always like
that's a good one.
I always like that you give us 3 things or something. We try to figure it out. Thank God for truncate silence, but
Yeah, so a lot of silences there, but those were thinkers.
Yeah, that's why we don't do it live.
Yeah, I didn't want to give you guys obvious answers, but I wanted to pick movies that you have seen most of these, if not all of them.
Yeah. Like I said, the first one was Zoe Deutsch. She was the only other character I could remember from Zombie, and I'm like, it has to be her because that would be an off the out of the box one.
Yeah, honestly, like I said, I forgot that movie even existed. Honestly, like Zombieland itself has had no cultural resonance in the past 10, 15 years.
You would have thought the Twinkie thing and their names would have nothing.
Well, I guess maybe the Bill Murray cameo. I think that's what sticks out to me the most from that movie. But
I forgot that. But
did you really?
Yeah.
I thought it was one of the better cameos. And it's a short movie. It's like an hour 28 minutes.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just remember it stuck in my head was maybe it's not cool, but just the thought of in a zombie apocalypse, you just take on the name of what city you're from.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. I was like, that's a pretty neat idea.
Sure.
And
Tallahassee and
Wichita.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Jesse Eisenberg's acting.
Oh, that's the problem. It's just Jesse. The appearance of Jesse Eisenberg in that movie just dates it so hard.
Yeah, I saw a clip from Now You See Me pop up on TikTok, and I'm like, Jesus.
And that's probably one of the better, like more tolerable movies he's in, I think.
With Zombieland?
Yeah, because you can kind of there's a buffer with Woody Harrelson.
Yeah, and Emma Stone from that time period.
Oh yeah, Emma Stone's great in it, but like it's not all Jesse Eisenberg, so you can kind of.
Speaking of Social Network.
Yeah.
But yeah, it does. It's such a time and place with that stuff with him. But yeah, I like this game, man.
Thank you. And that is our episode. That is martial law. So check back in next week. We're gonna have another episode as we always do, except for last week, and then we should be coming up on our June movie of the month is probably going to be here faster than we expect. So be on the lookout for that. Look out for the Twitter poll that'll come the week before. And find us on our, speaking of Twitter, find us on our socials at TickTamPods. That's Twitter and Instagram at TickTamPod. We're also available on TikTok at They Call This a Movie. Want to hit us up on our email if you want to suggest a movie for us. You want to ask us some questions. Your good friend did the last time. Hit us up at ticktampod@gmail.com. It's a great place to get a hold of us. And if you have 5 seconds or 5 minutes of your life, you want to show us some love on your podcatcher of choice, please go onto it. Give us a 5-star review. It helps out a great deal. It's going to wrap us up this week. The director of martial law is Steve Cohen. So, for Dan Aquino and Mark Myers, this is Anthony Devicchio telling Steve Cohen, well, you certainly made a movie, didn't you? Thanks for listening to They Call This a Movie. Subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts, and be sure to check us out on Twitter and Instagram at TickTamPod. That's TCTAM Pod. You can also check us out on TikTok at They Call This a Movie.